Pro bono costs, in a sentence, are costs paid that represent the value of the legal services provided pro bono by a legal representative or advocate, and they're payable to the Access to Justice Foundation rather than to the lawyers. So they fund further legal services as an element of double bubble, if you like. Not just have the legal services been provided in the first place, but they fund provision for more. The provision for pro bono costs orders is in Section 194 of the Legal Services Act 2007 and in the Civil Procedure Rules, CPR Rule 46.7. In essence, the rules make pro bono costs equivalent to ordinary costs, inter-party costs, and the procedure for getting them is the same, and for assessing them is the same. The pro bono costs jurisdiction matches the normal costs jurisdictions, that is, the County Court, the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. If you're acting pro bono, even if your instructing solicitor or instructing party is acting on a remunerated basis, you are in principle entitled on your client's behalf to seek a pro bono cost order, and you should do so, at least the value of your professional time. It is a relatively straightforward process. Rule 46.7 is very clear that a pro bono cost order is equivalent to an ordinary inter-party cost order. The procedure is straightforward. There's no reason not to do it, and every reason to do it. It's free money. What's not to like about that? The award of pro bono costs is equivalent to an award of costs in favour of the receiving party, and the full sum will be the equivalent of what would have been recoverable for the costs of the lawyer's time and services had the client been paying out of their own pocket. So it will be assessed either on the standard basis or on the indemnity basis in the same way as inter-party costs, and hopefully recovered in the same way. If the costs are budgeted, again, pro bono costs will be budgeted for in the same way as ordinary client costs and disbursements, and the recovery will be affected by the budgeting. All kinds of legal representation are covered, and even if one element of that representation, for example the solicitor's pre-action involvement, is remunerated, has been remunerated by the client, it doesn't prevent the rest of the representation that's provided on a pro bono basis from being the subject of a pro bono cost order. The court can make two cost orders in that regard, one for the costs of the original representation and one for the pro bono representation. Undoubtedly, yes, the threat of pro bono costs, just like the threat of ordinary costs in litigation, inter-party costs, is a powerful device that can get you the extra mile in negotiating settlement. Relatively straightforward. It's not something that barristers are used to doing, of course, but the form is pretty straightforward, and most of the time you're only accounting for your own time. There aren't rafts of disbursements and other expenses to be taken into account. Accounting for your own time is something that barristers should be doing for every case, every day, so that comes as second nature. When it comes to the argument on costs, you simply say to the judge that you're seeking a pro bono costs order, and if they need reminding, which they shouldn't do in this day and age, you can take them to Rule 46.7 of the Civil Procedure Rules, and the underlying provision, the Section 194 of the Legal Services Act 2007. The rules provide that pro bono costs order is equivalent to an ordinary costs order inter partes, and the procedure is the same for the award of costs and the assessment of those costs, either summarily or indeed on detailed assessment. After the hearing, I made sure to notify the Access to Justice Foundation promptly on the designated email so that they were aware of the making of the order. In an extreme case, it's for the AJF to pursue the order, to enforce the order, which is obviously outside my remit and my powers. Hopefully that doesn't happen too often, but in the last resort it can be necessary. It's also important for the AJF to keep abreast of orders that have been made and the likely remuneration under them for all sorts of obvious reasons.